is Adrian Onofre at 15 West 28th Street, the home of TADA Youth Theater. For the past 3 decades, TADA has presented original musicals, not just for the children of New York City, but with them, as the performers in all their shows are between the ages of 8 and 18. This has been TADA's 30th anniversary season, and I'm here on the set of its latest show, The Trials of Alice in Wonderland, with a co-founder who still runs the company, Janine Nina Trevins.
Hi.
Hi. So what had been your plan 30 years ago? Did you have a long-range vision for the company then?
I thought it would go on forever and be my life, which it is. We originally started it with one summer of 2 productions and then just kept going and going and going, like the Energizer Bunny.
Mm-hmm. Are your cast members part of TADA strictly as performers, or are they also enrolled in classes and training here?
Now, our cast members are from the ensemble, which is a youth development and theater training program. It's totally free program for them from the time they audition and get into the ensemble until they graduate from high school. So we offer classes for ensemble members, but they're specifically for ensemble members. We also have an arts education arm of TADA that goes into the schools and does after-school programs as well as classes and camps here on site that are for any kid interested in theater but don't have to go through the audition process.
Also joining us is an artist who has made immense contributions to TADA, and that is composer Eric Rockwell. He wrote the score for The Trials of Alice in Wonderland, as well as the upcoming summer show, Princess Fooey, and how many others? How many TADA shows?
Probably about 5 other shows, yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me about how your collaboration got started? Did you find her? Did she find you?
We found each other.
Yeah.
I remember auditioning for TADA.
Oh, you do? I don't.
I remember you had me play the TADA song, and my sight reading, I guess, was good enough. And then I began teaching classes as a music instructor, and I was resident music director right away.
Right, for a number of years, and from that was really working together on pieces that we were interested in. We actually wrote together, as well as I commissioned Eric to write other projects.
Eric, you've had a prolific career outside of TADA, among credits, the long-running off-Broadway show, The Musical of Musicals, The Musical. But can you talk about when you have to switch hats and start writing for children as opposed to for adults? I mean, have you ever had to say, oh, no, that's not going to work, or they might not understand that, or the vocabulary's too far?
I don't think there's any difference. I think some people maybe out there, I don't know, have 2 different standards or something, but for me, entering into a project and the world of that project, it's the same whether it's the Musical of Musicals, or now I'm working on the Donner Party, which is a rather harrowing, dark musical for adults.
Yeah, we're not doing that one.
Yeah, that's not a good TADA show. But whatever world I'm entering into, that's the commitment. And so the TADA shows have been just the same. I've never felt, maybe this is with TADA, a sense of having to write down or simplify.
Well, we don't do that.
We don't do that, right.
The shows have to have a balance. I mean, you're talking about a family audience. So the adults have to enjoy the work as much as the kids do. So I think that's part of it. But I also think that you learn when you go to theater. I mean, we as adults get exposed to different things when we go to theater. So why wouldn't we introduce kids to new thoughts or new vocabulary and that's just what you do. That's what theater is.
Do you have any stories or specific memories you can share of specific children that you remember and sort of their awakening as they were involved in theater?
I think many, but one that people might know is Jordan Peele, who is on Key and Peele. Jordan was in TADA for a number of years, but you really saw him come out of his shell a little bit here. And explore, the comedy and where he was going to go, which is more than just Key and Peele. He's actually directing a movie now. He's very talented. But I've seen kids who don't necessarily go into the business just also learn that they can do whatever they want to do. And I think, hearing my story, because I started TADA when I was very young, and realizing that you can do something when you're younger, I do believe it has to be nurturing. But nurturing doesn't mean coddling. Nurturing doesn't mean not expecting a lot. Nurturing means taking care of them and building them to where they can get to the highest point that they can achieve.
Eric, is there any show or even song or songs that you've written for TADA that have an extra special place in your heart?
That's a good question.
I have one of yours.
What's
yours?
I
No,
don't know what mine is, so you go first.
Find the Dream in You.
I was gonna say that, but I held back. Yeah, it was for maybe the 15th anniversary of TADA. It was for an anniversary.
It was 10th, wasn't it? 10th?
Was it the 10th?
God, I don't know.
It was.
Which show is this in?
It was a review called The Prop Shop, which celebrated shows that TADA had commissioned and done, and the finale of that show was called Find the Dream in You, which I wrote with Margaret Rose, and it was sort of, it almost felt like the end of Chorus Line. All the kids were in hats, with top hats and
Kickline.
a kick line type of thing. But the message of the song is TADA's message, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, even in the title of the song, Find the Dream in You and hold it to the light for everyone to view. It's about bringing your dream on stage and letting it be seen and shared.
And so can you just tell us about also what else is on the horizon for TADA?
Next season, we continue celebrating our 30th anniversary, because you can do that. It can take 2 years to celebrate 30 years. And we are opening with a show called Everything About TADA, Almost, which is like Prop Shop in that it will celebrate the last 30 years. And we have some of the ensemble members and an alumni working on that with myself and Joanna Greer, the Associate Artistic Director. So we're putting that together, and that will be our winter show.
And what about Princess Fooey? Because that is one that you've done before, right?
Princess Fooey was done once before, I think about 8 or 9 years ago. And, it's actually, we had the thing before Frozen and Anna and Elsa, we had the sisters Alessia and Fooey. And Fooey is a princess, her real name is Ermengarde. And she's a younger princess, her older sister's trying to teach her the right way to be a princess. And Fooey doesn't want to be saved by a prince, doesn't need a prince, wants to have her own story, wants to be her own person.